I want to get to the benefits for consumers and businesses, and you've touched on it, but we should go a little deeper into that. But first,
Yeah.
let's talk about IoT itself, which is just one sector of the edge market. What is the state of the IoT market these days? Is it still infancy, or what's your sense of the IoT sector?
Yeah, so I think IoT is certainly picking up. I mean, if I bifurcate it into IoT for consumer and IoT for business, let's look at
Right,
them maybe differently for a second.
right,
Certainly this past holiday season, right, even with security concerns, the reality is that personal voice assistants, doorbell cameras, these things are
right,
exploding in popularity.
right.
And, interestingly enough, with IoT, the 5G providers want to connect those devices directly to 5G. There's this
Hmm.
idea now that 5G and edge might eliminate the need for Wi-Fi,
Oh,
right? I mean, might just replace Wi-Fi. And
okay.
now that means the network has to be able to support an IoT device on the same network as maybe a device that's more important. So from a consumer standpoint, I think IoT is really exploding. And then there's the business market. And IoT is now going into every device on a factory floor, every device in a business, even the military. I work actually with our federal customers as well. And you
Hmm.
have, now military bases that are trying to figure out what they do when a soldier or a spouse comes in with an IoT device. Do we want that on a branch network? So
Right.
there's a whole world out there of securing IoT. And then there's a whole other world of connecting it. And does Wi-Fi exist forever? Or do the 5G operators come in and just say, hey, bypass the Wi-Fi in the house and put it right on our network? That certainly is, I'll tell you, one of their goals.
What do you think? Will that world come to pass where Wi-Fi is obsolete and it's all 5G, or is that sort of just a hope of the providers?
Well, there's always this pendulum that thinks, oh, everything's going to go 5G, and then kind of like
Right.
cloud, everything's going to go cloud, and then we
Right.
start to come back into the middle. And is
Yeah.
Wi-Fi going to go away? I don't know about that. I think that's probably a longer way off. But
Uh-huh.
I do, however, think though that the wireless providers with 5G and the density that they can get with it, and again, going back to edge and the way they can slice up the network, they can sell a very low cost IoT slice and give it a lower quality of service, and generate a whole new set of revenue by using edge to empower network slicing that will allow an autonomous car to have a much more valuable slice of the network than millions of IoT devices that
Interesting.
might come on. But really taking over Wi-Fi, that might be a way out. But I'll tell you, the 5G operators, that's certainly on their radar. That's a goal. Let's say it's a goal they'd like to do.
Huh. Okay. And it would make our devices move still faster if we were on 5G as opposed to Wi-Fi, right? Or not
Theoretically, it
necessarily.
could, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, it all depends on your operator and your area. I can tell you, I live in a rural part of Ohio, and only recently did our landline broadband become fast. I mean, we were at under 3 megs for years, right? And now fortunately, we're up to fast. But these rural areas, in particular, could be hit with a massive spectrum of 5G broadband covering a very large area using 800 megahertz spectrum, and you could get very fast 5G internet at your home. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll
Okay.
see if if it's going to be faster or not. But it's certainly technically it's possible.
Let's talk about the benefits for consumers and businesses. A short break. I want to remind our viewers and listeners, you feel free to ask a question anytime. Brandon, if you have a question anytime, just type it in the Q&A box and we'll address it. Thanks for being with us, for example. So